Hey, this is Casey. I am One Mellow Marigold. This is part 2 of our overwhelming series. Today we're going to talk about feeding plants. Hi everybody, welcome back for part 2 where we are going to talk about feeding your plants. In this series we are trying to break down some of the aspects of growing that can seem really intimidating or overwhelming and give it to you in an easier format so we can get you in the garden if that's where you want to be. So if you haven't watched the first part, I'll link it up above. But what we're going to do today is I'm going to break down feeding your plants into 3 categories. I'm going to give you the set it and forget it category. I'm going to give you the general fertilizer and a couple of different fertilizer types category. And I'm going to give you some fancier options for those who have a little bit more time and energy to put into their focus plant. What that means is, once you have heard the answer that feels right for your needs, stop the video and you're good. You're done. Don't worry about it. And we'll see you on part 3, which is going to be all about watering. So there we go. Okay, set it and forget it gardeners. This is the section for you. If you want to grow something, but you want it to be a pretty hands-off process, you may not want to worry about feeding schedules and what specific nutrients this plant versus this plant needs, yada, yada, yada. Here's what you're gonna do. You're gonna get your plant, you're gonna put it in some good potting soil, and that's it. You're gonna get a good potting soil, and that's it. Let me show you my favorites. These are my favorite products, and no, I am not paid by any of them. However, a girl wouldn't mind, so, hit me up. I've got a bag of Purple Cow potting mix and a bag of Fox Farm. I have used both interchangeably for a couple of years and super, super happy with the results. The beauty of potting soil is it's already got nutrients for your plants right in the soil. It's going to be a hearty mix. It is going to feel like it has a lot of organic matter in the soil. It's going to look chunky is what I'm trying to tell you. That chunky organic soil is really theoretically all you need to feed your plant for the majority of its life cycle. Now, let's take a little quick budgetary note. This bag and this bag were probably about $20 a piece. That is not inexpensive. That's pricey. Personally, I like that they're both organic. That's something that's really important to me. This is a local company, so I really love that. This is just super, super great performer, and they've got lots of great products. So I'm willing to pay up for this type of potting soil, but not everybody can do that, okay? And that is okay. So you're going to, what I recommend is buy the best quality you can afford at the time. A big old bag like this is gonna fill like 4 to 5 pots. Now, here's a little trick to help make your potting soil go farther. If you can't afford a lot of potting soil, but you can afford a bag, get yourself some topsoil to go along with it. And you're going to put the topsoil in the bottom of your pot because that new plant's roots aren't going to be reaching all the way down to the bottom right away. So you can put the heavier topsoil in the bottom and fill that up a good 3-4 inches, and then cover the top with your really good yummy potting soil, and you've made this big expensive bag go a lot farther. So for my beginner folks who just want to set it and forget it, get yourself a bag of potting soil, get yourself a bag of topsoil, give them a little mix, you're all done. Good to go. We're going to see you later. Okay, this part is for my folks who want to take a little bit of step forward. Well, you've got a little bit more mental energy to put on your focus plants, and you want to do a general fertilizer. Okay. Every single fertilizer in every nursery is going to have a 3-digit code on it. The potting soil is going to even have that. It's right here. That little 3-digit code is going to tell you what kind of nutrients that particular fertilizer has. We'll talk about what those 3 numbers mean in the next section, but when you go to your store to get a general fertilizer, you can ask anybody who's there. They love to talk about that stuff. But you're going to look for a fertilizer where the numbers, those 3 numbers, are roughly in the same proportions. Roughly. This might say 20-20-20 for a general all-purpose fertilizer. This one's a little bit higher on the nitrogen, but the numbers, again, roughly in the same category. This happens to be my favorite. This happens to be my favorite. Again, they don't pay me, but you can. Second note about general fertilizers. Some fertilizers are liquid. Some fertilizers are solid. Liquid fertilizer, right to your roots, right in the soil, immediately available for your roots to soak up. Solid, it's got to break down in the soil. Immediate, slow release. Liquid is great for immediate results. However, be careful. I want you to read the directions on the back, and I want you to follow their feeding schedule carefully. You can even go to their website. They got a ton of feeding schedules and things like that. Look at the feeding schedule and just follow it, because it is so easy to overfeed our plants. So just follow the feeding schedule. You got this, you're good to go. If you don't want to worry about overfeeding, slow release solids are an interesting way to go. This is bone meal. Other solids are kelp meal, mushroom compost, compost from your backyard. Those are all solids, those are all fertilizers, and they are slow release. So give way over time. So if you want to step up to the general fertilizer, find yourself something where the numbers are roughly in the same proportions. If you want immediate, liquid. If you want slow release and easy, solid. That's it. There you go. Boop, boop. Okay. So now for my fancy gardeners who got a little bit more mental energy they can put into their plants. Let's talk about what those three numbers mean. Three numbers stand for nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. Those are the three macronutrients your garden needs to thrive and do what it does. In the very simplest of terms, nitrogen, that makes it growth and green. Nitrogen is growth and green. That builds your stems, your leaves, your foundation for the plant that is going to carry your flowers, your seeds, your vegetables, your what have you. The two P's, well, really a P and a K, but the second two numbers, think of those as your fruits and flowers. So nitrogen is going to grow the plant. P and K are going to grow your fruits and flowers. So if you've got a little bit more time and you've done a little bit more study on your focus plant and you have learned that your plant could use a good general fertilizer in the beginning, but then could maybe use a little bit of a potassium boost later in the season as it's getting to flower, woo! Well, now you're just treating your focus plant like a queen, like the queen that she is. Take your time when you're at the nursery. Ask lots of questions. You're going to look for higher numbers for those second two and a lower number of nitrogen if you want fruits and flowers. You're going to look for higher nitrogen and less on fruits and flowers if you need big stems and big leaves. That's it. That's it. I mean, well, there's probably like a million more things, but that's what makes it overwhelming, and that's not what we're trying to do today. Okay, so let's recap what we're going to do. If we want to set it and forget it, we're going to put our plant in a nice, healthy potting mix. We're going to get the best that we can afford. We might layer in a little topsoil if we need to cut that potting mix down a little bit to make it last longer. You guys, good to go. Second, if you got a little bit more time and energy, you're going to look into a general fertilizer. You're going to look for an even three numbers or an even three proportions on the bottles that you look at. You're going to ask questions when you're at the nursery. You are going to follow the directions on the bottle for feeding schedules. And then you guys are good. And then my last group of folks, you're going to start looking into not only just a general fertilizer, but maybe something a little extra special just for your particular focus plant, or something that might help with blooming and flowering later in the season. That's it. Doesn't have to be hard. It's all going to come with time. If you're starting with one or two focus plants, you're not really trying to tackle the whole world. You're not trying to tackle the whole garden all at once. And there we go, folks. Just like that. Feeding your plants doesn't have to be scary. Does not have to be scary. I know you can do it. You can totally do this. I hope this was helpful. If you have any advice or feedback for me, by all means, throw me a comment below. And if you know a beginner gardener that's maybe a little bit on the timid side, please go ahead and share this along, and let's help somebody else out too. Happy growing, folks. I'll see you on the next one.